Hey everyone, welcome to episode one of the Whitefield Runners podcast with me, Nitin. And
Me, Vinod.
both of us are amateur runners. Vinod is my colleague turned friend turned running buddy. And we speak about running a lot, running and fitness in general. We sit opposite each other, so there's a lot that we chat about. So
We
we
bore
thought,
our office friends with all of the running talk.
exactly. And so we thought, why not, take this conversation and convert it into a podcast so that, it just doesn't stay with us. That is a brief origin story of the Whitefield Runners podcast. You want to talk about the name?
Yeah, we have a WhatsApp group called the Whitefield Runners, and we have about, I think, 6 people in it. The latest entry is my wife, Chetna. Uh, but yeah, we started this group to encourage everyone to run, keep everyone accountable. And we are based out of Whitefield, Bangalore, which is the tech capital of the world. So, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Okay. Firstly, a very existential question, and I'll share my thoughts too. Two parts. Why did you start running, and why do you still run? What keeps you going?
Okay. I started running during the pandemic. So if you, as you, everyone might remember, COVID time was not good for most of us. We were all isolated. I was actually back in Kerala at my family home, and there were not many avenues to get fit. So gyms were not that great, and also there was lockdown, so you couldn't really step out. It seemed like I was putting on a lot of weight very
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah,
It was kind of alarming when I saw my own photos. So I wanted to do something that was easy to do, didn't require a ton of equipment, or I didn't need a lot of people around me, something that I could do on my own. And it seemed like running was fitting all of those criteria.
fair enough.
Yeah, which is why I started running. Actually, uh, why I still keep running is because now it's a bigger group that I feel I'm accountable to. So I enjoyed it initially. Uh, Apps like Strava certainly helped me. When I saw that some of my very good friends were on Strava, they were running very frequently, and I started to just do what they were doing, and then it just become a habit now. So running is now a way of life for me. So I think of myself as a runner. It has become my identity.
The lifestyle. It's no longer
Yeah,
a
it's no
goal.
longer like something that I do. It's something that I am. Which then is like it's just much easier to run if you think you're a runner. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
fair enough.
that's kind of why I still do it. Yeah,
Fair enough. Yeah.
yeah.
For me, I have a pretty interesting story. I might have told it to you or like a few folks. The reason I started running was by accident. One of my friends randomly shared an invite for a 10K event,
Okay.
which was supposed to be flagged by Virat Kohli.
Oh,
And
of course you were there.
I am a big fan of Virat Kohli, and it was right before the IPL. So IPL started in April. It was like March of 2023. Only reason I signed up was, I can probably take a selfie with, Virat
Kohli.
while crossing the line. But as luck would have it, he didn't turn up for
Oh
the
shit.
event. There were like multiple flag offs, like 5K, 10K, 18K. It was a 1-8 run,
Right,
so
right.
there was an 18K as well. So that guy went inside during the 10K flag off for some reason. So he was not there. But I'm like very, very thankful to Virat because that is the reason why I signed up. And like that is when I decided that, like I need to like continue to run for multiple reasons. One, I think I took close to 90 minutes. It was a 10K event,
Right.
and I took close to 90 minutes, and I saw a lot of people, probably much older, much more heavier than me, etc., like crushing it in like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes. That's when I started questioning myself, like, what is wrong with my body? And then, like,
Yeah.
the discovery process sort of kicked in, that, I cannot live with this, body forever. Like,
Yeah.
abused it already for like 32 years. So, time to change. So, that sort of triggered it. But in terms of why I continue to run, I think that's something that I discovered over the course of the 2 years. It was not a sudden thing. Is that I see a lot of parallels. I'm sure you'll resonate with this as well. I see a lot of parallels between running and meditation. I see running as a form of meditation, except the fact that you abuse your knees and legs a lot
Yeah.
more in running versus meditation.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at meditation, right, like at least as far as I understand, it's mainly to control your mind, the monkey mind, and like keep it in the present, not think about your fears, your worries.
Right.
past or future, right? Like just let your thoughts flow and observe them like from a third person. That is my understanding of like
Okay.
why people do
So it's
meditation.
meditative for you.
It is meditative. It is like living in the moment. Running, when I'm running, I'm not thinking about the project deadline for next week,
Right.
or about anything else. Like even personal, I'm not thinking. It's just another form of me time. Only thing that goes in my mind is like my breathing. I don't listen to podcasts or like songs. I used to initially, but I don't anymore. Like I'm
Okay.
like fully on my own, and I just think about the rhythm of my leg, one foot moving over the other, and my breathing. Just like I just enjoy that process.
Okay.
With PRs, goals, improvements aside, I just enjoy the process of
Okay. I'm not
running.
yet there, I would say.
Not yet there.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I still run. I still question whether I will still run again tomorrow.
Okay.
So every day I run, but I mean, I told you about it being my identity, etc. But then it's very easy to lose momentum. So every day I do question, will I run again tomorrow? So I don't think I'm at your level of process yet.
Yeah.
But one thing that keeps me going is to listen to podcasts. That's honestly why it's worked for me, is because I only listen to podcasts when I'm running.
Right.
And I pick up very interesting podcasts. So the only way I can listen is if I run again
If you're not
tomorrow.
engaged with something else, right?
It's an incentive. You can listen to a podcast if you run.
That way. Okay.
So if I stop the podcast midway today at the end of my 10K, then I have like basically made a deal with myself that I won't listen to it until I run again. So then I have to run.
Interesting.
So that incentive has also kept me going. So many factors keep you going, right? One day you're motivated to run by the weather, your friends running. Another day there is none of that. You have to rely on some other kind of motivation to keep you going. So for me, podcasts have helped from that perspective also.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And like when did you start? You told like during the pandemic, right? So
During
both of us are
pandemic.
like pretty amateur runners, so we
Yeah.
just began our journey.
Absolutely. I also took an maybe 14 to 15-month break in the middle because I had a disc injury.
Yes.
So couldn't do any physical activity. So all my running was set back to zero. So now it's like 8 months since I restarted. So that's where I am. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So both of us are like pretty new. So like our memories of like probably being a non-runner to making that a lifestyle should be pretty fresh.
Yeah.
So if there are a few people who are watching this podcast who are not runners yet, but they want to begin somewhere, what would be your 2 cents or like tips for them to start running so that it's a seamless process? Like what are some learnings from us that folks can learn?
Yeah, I think everyone will have their own journey, but I can probably share what worked for me. Right. One is technology. So in the beginning, I had a Fitbit watch, and I had Strava, the free version. And the reason I'm mentioning this very first is because for me, honestly, that was the main thing, the main reason I continued to run. In the beginning, you need to build momentum. You need to run your first, 100 kilometers of running. You need to complete that. And in the beginning, you will find a lot of days of low motivation, etc. So at that time, any help that you get, will keep you going. So Fitbit or Strava app will keep you going, because one, Strava is a social network for runners. So when you do an activity, your friends give you cheers or kudos, etc. So that way you have that going, and then you have monthly goals like 100-kilometer challenge for a month, etc.
Right.
So that is there. And Fitbit, like, you can do all your running without any apps at all, but the thing is, having those numbers gives you something to chase. So that's how human nature is. You see a number, tomorrow you want to change that or improve that in some way. So use that as a hack, as a biohack or whatever, to keep yourself going in the first few runs.
I need to interrupt you here. Like we go to run in Kadugodi Tree Park all the time, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I see a couple of folks there, like pretty common, who run at probably 3:34 pace, and they don't wear a watch. I was like, how is it even possible? Like, why are you not recording your runs? And then I figure out like not everyone wants to record to sort of like track their progress or share it with the world.
Yeah.
They just enjoy the process and like they're done with it and they go.
They have reached nirvana.
Nirvana. Yeah.
We are not yet there. We are still like, one day I run, tomorrow I may or may not run. So I definitely need help from apps. The second thing, apart from the technology, would be maybe start with very simple goals. In the beginning, when I used to run, I used to do, I think, 3 or 3.14. I used to do that pi run.
Interesting.
Also, because that ground that I had,
Okay.
which I had access to, when you complete 3, you're almost at the point where you started. It's like you're
Okay.
completing a few laps. So the length of the track is such that at 3.14 you start and stop at the same
I see. Yeah.
spot.
Okay.
So I used to just do that. I did that for over, I think, 2-3 months. It would just be threes and fours, threes, fours. And I did my first 10K in October. I had started running in a little bit in August, a little bit in September. In October, I finished 100 kilometers for the first time. And on the last day of that, I did my 10K. So because it was October 31, I was still 90 behind. Not 90 behind. I was at 90.
90,
I
10
had
behind.
10 behind.
Understood.
So then, yeah, I had to do 110K somehow. So that was that was the first month where I felt that now I've done it. I've done 100K. I think I can sustain this. So after that, I started to go for fives and sevens, and it's just a progression. You start with threes,
Exactly.
fives, eights become common, then 12s start to become your most common run. And I think I wouldn't go beyond that as like a daily run.
Yeah.
Even 12 seems a lot, but that's how you get there, I think, for me.
Got it. So
Yeah.
starting small, staying consistent, having a community to cheer you and keep you accountable.
Yeah.
Like helped you in your initial
Yeah.
phases. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree to all of these. And I heard this very interesting phase in another podcast very recently. Is that when you start off, any habit, right? Like you'll have to start with impossible to miss goals.
Impossible to miss.
Impossible to miss.
Okay.
So you set goals
Oh,
so
it's so
low,
easy.
so easy that
You won't
they
miss.
sound ridiculous.
Right.
They are impossible to miss. Like
Right,
you
right.
can't miss them.
Okay.
But it apparently has an impact on how you sort of
Yeah.
build habits.
Is that how you started? What was your journey like?
My journey was the Virat Kohli incident
Oh,
that
okay.
I spoke about.
But after that, how
After
did
that,
you? Yeah.
after that, see, like I think like one or two learnings for me was like initially I would be like too bogged down by my pace,
Timing and
my timing, right? Like, I mean, who runs at 9 minutes per kilometer? That was my own question, like very existential
yeah.
question, right? And then like when I spoke with other people, then I understood that even though people may be of the same age, same background, all of that, everyone has their own journey.
Yeah.
I might probably be comparing myself with someone who's running for 20 years, or like who has a different build altogether, or like who probably grew in a different terrain, or like has a different
Yeah. Or
diet,
maybe was an athlete
or
earlier
was an athlete earlier,
at a
right? So
younger
I think the
age.
first thing that whenever you start off early, and it's something that I learned the hard way, but if you're starting off fresh, never ever compare yourself with anyone, and like think that you probably are not there yet. The only thing that you should be comparing, and it's a cliche right now, is
Is
like
with yourself.
with yourself, like
Yeah.
where you were like a month ago, 2 months ago. If I take my own example, right? So that Virat Kohli run was 10K in 90 minutes. That was 2 years ago. And then like last year was 70, 75. Now I'm at like 56,
Yeah.
57,
Sub 60 finally.
sub 60 finally. And like I want to do a sub 50 sometime this year.
Okay.
And it's very, I mean, like these are all goals, right? Like you meet them, that is just the high of that moment, but the process is more enjoyable. Like when you see like your body react, when you're not struggling as much to do a 10K in say 60 minutes or 65 minutes, you know that you like all the effort that you put in is responding, and that keeps you sort of going. So impossible to miss goals, and like taking a long view and not a short view. Like you cannot like not run your entire life and then like look to complete a 10K in like 60 minutes, right? So that's very unrealistic. So set your bar and then like improve from there.
On day one, you want to be Eliud Kipchoge.
Eliud Kipchoge, yeah, exactly. So I think we discovered that ourselves, like while we are in that journey. And last thing I would say that is that when I started off, even now I do a lot of walks in between. But when I started off, I would just do like some run and a lot of walk. Basically, what you call as like workout and recovery.
Okay.
I would just run for like a minute or two, and then like walk for like 5 minutes. Like run for 2 minutes and walk for 5 minutes, and then over time, the workout time and the walk time sort of like
it's
expanded.
Now flipped, I guess.
It's flipped, yeah. It's
completely.
Completely flipped. I'm not reached the stage where I can run 10 kilometers at a stretch without taking a break. I want to do that, I can do 5-6 kilometers without taking a stop.
Yeah.
But it's completely fine to start with whatever you're comfortable with, right? Like, just whatever you're comfortable is your baseline, and then you sort of like, build from there.
A minute of running and then couple of minutes of recovery.
30 minutes workout with just 10 minutes of running and 20 minutes of walking is
It's
better than not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah,
I don't walk at all.
nice.
I have complete disdain for walking. Evening walks, or I usually I don't go on them. I don't think about steps also per
Okay.
day, and I don't bother recording walks. If I even walk somewhere, I don't
Like,
do that.
even like 5-6 kilometer walks, you don't record.
Who would walk 5 to 6? I have never walked 5 to 6 kilometers till now. But I just don't record that. I know you do it differently. You walk and you record the walks as well.
I record my walks also. Yeah. I just record. Everything is there in Strava. If it's not on Strava, it's not counted. You didn't do that. So
right.
that's how it is.
I think I actually like your approach better, because I think for me it becomes like an all or nothing. You either run and record it, or like if you walk, it doesn't count. But that's wrong, no? Every day you may not be able to run, but you can do a little bit of walking or something. It's better than not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I think that is important as well.
Yeah. Sure. And like pivot to maybe like a slightly forward-looking view. What are some of the races, events you're excited about? Like,
Right.
tell me more about your goals for this year and
Goals for this year.
Yeah.
Goals for this year. Actually, I have a different approach to goal setting, I would say. I have a process goal. I don't have an outcome goal. So my process goal is that I want to do 120 kilometers every month.
Nice.
And I want to do 12 half marathons. So I did my first half marathon November 2024. That was, I think, 4 months
4
back.
months ago.
4 months ago, Mangalore Marathon was my first. Since then, I've done 2 more. So I've completed 3. The last one was in February in Manipal. So this year I want to do 12 total. I'll have to find one which I missed
marathon.
in Jan.
Yeah.
So I want to do that. And timing, I'm okay. Of course, if it's 2 hours 45 and all, I won't. I will be very sad. But if it's under 2.5 hours, no,
it's fine.
It's fine. I'm okay.
Fine. Yeah.
I know that I've given my best. That much is okay.
And just with your regular, exercise or like 120 kilometers a month, I'm sure
Yeah.
like your
It'll improve.
12 half marathons are probably going to be like
way better
250 or
than
210.
exactly. So I know that the result will happen. I don't care too much about it. I just need to follow this process of 120 per month.
Right.
And I think at the beginning of the year, I also tried to do 3-4 gym sessions a week of weightlifting, core strength, etc. Then I've sort of not been able to keep that up. But the aim is to go back to doing both. 1 day run, 1 day weightlifting,
okay,
and so on, and then take 1 day break in the middle.
Yeah. And how many days in a week do you lift? Like 3 or 4 days?
I used to. So that was January. Then February I didn't do much. March I'm yet to get back to it. But I'll be doing 3 lifts a week, okay. 3 to 4.
Okay.
So that was the other part of the process goal. 4 gym sessions a week for 52 weeks.
That's nice.
And then 120 kilometers a month.
Yeah.
Basically for a week it's 30 kilometers.
Yeah.
So it just, breaking down a big goal into what needs to be done in a week's time, it's easier to achieve, and you just keep repeating that.
Yeah. I think that's the perfect level also. I think for our level of fitness, 30 is just about right. It's like slightly pushing yourself, but like not impossible either.
Yeah.
Like 30 a week is okay.
Yeah.
30 a week for 52 weeks is, I think, like
Yeah.
It'll be great if you can, like,
even if I miss, right? Even if I only do 90% of that, it's still
fine.
a very good achievement for me.
Yeah.
So
not stress too much about, like,
yeah,
you have other things in life as
yeah,
well. So
exactly.
Like 1 or 2 weeks.
That's what. Even if I don't hit the 1,500 mark for the year, right, I won't be upset, because I know I'll hit at least 1,300. Even if I miss a lot of running, I will still do 1,300. So, and if I get there also, I'm not going to be sad at all. This will be a very good goal for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. And like I said, timing wise, I don't have any goals. Whatever timing is fine. I just need to complete the distance.
Yeah.
How about you?
There. I am really excited about the TCS 10K that's coming up.
Oh yeah.
In April.
Oh, you did ask me about upcoming races. We'll come to that.
I am like really excited. That is the short-term race that I am like super excited about. So because it's a 10K, I've stopped my half marathon training and all of that, so I'm
Okay.
not doing any long distance runs anymore. Focusing a lot on like intervals and like speed workouts.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I want to improve on my timing further. Like I said, I want to get to sub 50 sometime this year. So I think TCS would be like a good, you know, check on like, you know, where I
Yeah.
am mid-year. It's almost like mid-year, right?
Right.
And then like, you know, figure out like what needs to be true in the
TCS
next
is, I think, April end, no?
April end. Yeah.
So you have about 6 weeks of training.
Yeah.
To that.
So TCS would be like my benchmark run every year, right? So TCS 2023 was 86 minutes.
Okay.
2024 was 65 minutes.
Okay.
So 86, 65.
Yeah.
Now I'm at around 57.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's obviously going to be slightly better.
Yeah, on the race day it will be better.
And then like, you know, use, you know, one race per year like for a distance as a benchmark to see how much you progress. And like we are nowhere close to, you know, being saturated or like not missing our PRs. That would be like in the 40s somewhere. So I think like till we reach that space, I'd probably use TCS for a 10K benchmark.
Right.
And TMM, Tata Mumbai Marathon, as a full marathon benchmark.
This one happens in Jan.
In Jan. So these are races that I don't plan to miss, you know, going forward as well.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So TCS is a short-term goal, and then long-term, Tata Mumbai Marathon, I did a 5:30, like around 5:29 last year.
Okay.
And I feel that I left a lot on the table, like for my current fitness levels also.
Right,
so I want to like ambitiously target like a sub 4:30 or roundabouts for next
4:30.
year.
So you want to shave off 1 hour in 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Upcoming half marathon for me is Toyota, the Biddi one.
Yeah.
And we are also doing the 10K TCS. So one other reason why I started running. Once you start running, then you look for events.
Don't tell me medals.
100% it's medals. I think I was running a lot in 2022, a little bit in 2023 before I stopped running because of the injuries. And after starting again in 2024, that's when I started to go for official races. So in my first few, you know, like maybe 15, 18 months of running, I didn't do a single official run. Because I thought I don't want any of that.
$1,000 or like whatever.
No, the money was not the thing. But it was more like, who will get up and go at 3 a.m. And all this seemed like it's not me. I mean, I'm not good enough to go running. Like, what's the point? You do a 10K in 70 minutes. Even if you get a medal, what's the big deal, right? But now I've realized that at my age, no one's going to give me medals for anything. So if I need medals, I better go and do. This is the only event which will give me medals. So yes, definitely medals is part of it.
Okay.
And the other thing is, this is also a way to travel, at least within India, different places.
Why India? International. You've done an international event. I've done one too.
Right. You've done?
I did in Toronto.
Oh,
when I
right.
went for work travel. So
Okay,
I did the Under Armour Toronto 10K.
Right.
And you did the Singapore one.
Singapore Marathon 10K, yeah. I did that.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to get around. A good excuse, I would say.
Yeah.
And that, again, I have friends in different, we all have friends everywhere, right? So when I went to Manipal, it became a reason to bond with one of my really close friends there. And I dragged him along to do the 5K. I did half marathon. So I'm spreading that bug.
Good reason, good excuse to travel, right? Like there are other benefits also. When I met one of my college friends when I went to Mumbai.
Right.
Yeah, someday I think like we'll travel with our family and do the world marathon majors.
Yeah, why not?
Can't rule that out.
Berlin, Tokyo, Boston.
Yeah.
We'll do all of that.
Why not?
Why not? Dream big.
Yes, exactly.
Dream big should be the motto of Whitefield Runners podcast.
Yeah.
Dream big.
Yeah. Dream big. Yeah. Sure. I think with that we've probably come to the end of episode 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully, you know, some of this resonated with our audience. So audience, if you're watching, firstly, thank you. And secondly, let us know, like we are also like discussing like, you know, what are some good topics we can bring to you in the upcoming episodes. So if you do have any suggestions, do share that with us either in the comment section in the YouTube video, or you can also mail them to us at whitefieldrunners@gmail.com. Any parting thoughts?
Yeah, don't be mean.
Cool. Thank you.